That was my bad. I forgot to press the loop.
You can unloop it now. Oh, hi, everybody. Welcome to another wonderful episode of You and I Builder Live. My name is Maria Gabriela Ochoa Press-Wechter, and I'm an outbound product manager here at ServiceNow. And joining me today is...
Hello, I am Sharon Barnes, MVP with ServiceNow and a developer at Novant Health, and looking forward to learning a little more about UI Builder with Maria Gabriela.
Awesome. I'm glad to have you here, Sharon. So today's episode, we're going to be covering what we went over in our Knowledge Lab. So for those of you who may not be familiar, Knowledge is the yearly ServiceNow conference where we have a whole bunch of presentations, and among them are labs, which you're able to go in with your laptop and work through an entire scenario with a lab guide. And it gives you step-by-step directions on what to do in order to learn new skills. So today we're hopefully going to be able to get through the Introduction to Workspaces lab, and then also be able to get through maybe the Advanced Workspaces lab as well. I'm not sure. In true fashion, I forgot to send a link to Earl, and I'm sending it right now through Slack. We have this lab guide available for you to also run through yourselves. If you want to do it offline, if you want to do it while we're doing it now, Earl has posted it in the chat, and it'll also be in the description in the future. But that's basically what we're going to do today. Also, my camera just likes to do that now for some reason. I still haven't figured out why it's cutting off like that. So feel free to say some random filler stuff if that ever happens, Sharon.
Will do.
So, Sharon, have you ever worked in UI Builder before?
I have done a couple different things with UI Builder. Most of the time it is part of a wider app. I think the coolest one we did was a app engine template that included a workspace, which we customized with UI Builder.
Nice. Classic scenario. So this is the site where that we just linked that has all of the labs that my team presented at Knowledge this year. We've got a theming lab. We've got the Build a Killer Experience lab, the Advanced Workspace config, and we're going to go into the Crafting Workspaces like a Pro one. We've got a quick introduction in this scenario. We're basically going to be covering real-life tasks that you may be asked to accomplish for workspaces as a ServiceNow admin or dev. And hopefully you're going to learn how to achieve these goals listed here. It gives you the prerequisites. It doesn't have this one doesn't have an update set that you need to download and install. And if you're brand new to UI Builder, it also gives you a full walkthrough here of every single aspect that I could think would be helpful for you to know about UI Builder. I think it's thorough. I hope it helps. So we're going to start with
very comprehensive.
Very. And thank you for proofreading it too. Throwback to May last week before Knowledge. I was frantically messaging Sharon asking her for help. So we're going to get started. Exercise 1, we're going to just do a couple of things on the HR Agent Workspace. Because of the resolution that I'm using my screen at, I wonder if I can make this a tiny bit bigger and it'll show. No, I'll just keep it the same size as before. So the first thing I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go back into Global just to have a fresh start using the Instance Tools menu. We're going to start following the instructions, and I'm not going to go step by step reading them out loud. We're just going to generally follow what it's telling us to do. So we're going to go in and click on Workspaces, then go to HR Agent Workspace. And if you guys have any questions as we work through this, feel free to put them in the chat. Sharon will read them out loud. And exercise 1 is basically just walking you through what the HR Agent Workspace offers you. Take a look at and see what's already here. Figure out what we're about to change. So now it's telling us to go into the All menu and type in UI Builder. If I could spell right. Oh, what happened there?
There we go.
Of course, it opened in a new window. How dare. Okay, now let me do this. Perfect. Okay, we're back in business, everybody. We're back in business.
All right. So you got your window for UI Builder, and inside of it, what do we do next? Do we navigate to that workspace?
Check this out. Literally on like the second day of knowledge, the new store release of UI Builder came out. So all my screenshots are of the old experiences landing page, and this is the new experiences landing page.
I mean, that is the life of all upgrades, though. You always have things constantly changing, and keeping your documentation in sync is a process.
It's a process. That's such a nice way of putting it. I love how you talk. So we're going to go to the landing page default. And you can see I've already done this a couple times here. So we're going to go to the landing page default variant. And first, we're going to make sure we're in the correct app scope. Mm-hmm. So here it's telling us to switch to Agent Workspace for HR Case Management. And I'm going to go here. And I'm going to select it.
All right.
And now that we're in the right scope, it's telling us it's read-only. So we need to duplicate variants. So that's basically how you maintain your changes in UI Builder. You create variants of out-of-the-box copies of pages. So that way, when updates come out for the pages that we publish, it doesn't affect any of the changes that you've made yourself. Oh, I love that little Camoji, Ben. That's amazing.
Yes.
So here is our landing page now. We've gone through all the stuff, and we're going to go on to the next activity. This activity is going to kind of walk you through how to navigate UI Builder. So the main thing I want you guys to know is that there's 2 ways to kind of navigate through a page now. You can either use the brand new stage preview, stage 3.0, I think it's called, and you can click on things directly, or you can navigate on the component tree over here, and you're able to select the same things. We're going to navigate mostly through the component tree.
I will say, if you are brand new to UI Builder and just want to get a sense of the framework of how everything connects together, and like the first time I came into this interface, I was like, whoa, there's a lot going on. This guide is really good at breaking down what all of those different pieces are, and going through it that first time for me, it really helped me actually understand what I was clicking on, not just, you know, playing whack-a-mole until something does the effect you want it to do.
I love that. Playing whack-a-mole. I like to say I intimidate the system into working sometimes. So we're going to select the header container. And we're going to go down to the 3 dots here. And we're going to click this little to remove any property from it. And we're going to hit save and then continue on to the next activity.
And why did you do that? What does that affect?
So I wanted, oh, you know what? Thank you. I completely forgot to read that part of it. So our goals for this activity, oh my goodness. Number 1, we're going to move the open items section from the bottom to above the overview section. So we're going to move this down here to the top. We're going to remove the background image from the header, which is what we just did. And we're going to add a data visualization to the header to show my cases. So I'm going to go back to activity number 3. And we're going to add the columns layout component. So we're going to right-click the header container. We're going to click Add Before. And then we're going to go to Layouts. And this shows you the layouts and components. If you remember, if you've been developing on UI Builder for a little bit, you might remember that there was a component called Container. This is what now has replaced it. So we're going to go ahead and select the 3 columns here. And it's going to show us the 3 columns that we've created. Now, something very important to do is always rename your components. The component labels are really useful. You can see them right here. And trust me, in 3 months, once you go back to working on this again and you completely forget everything you did, you're going to appreciate yourself for having renamed it. So we're going to name it Header Column Layout. Sometimes on the show, we may or may not edit the component names. Do as we say, not as we do. It's always best practice to do that. So now we're going to click and drag another aspect of UI Builder that's pretty cool. We're going to click and drag sidebar 1 to our new column 1. And you can see that's kind of moving over here. We're going to click and drag the main into column 2. And now that the header container is empty, we're going to right click and delete. And now it's gone. We've only got our header column layout here. And we're just breezing through these activities. When you run through this on your own, you'll see that the screenshots are a lot bigger and you can see them a lot more clearly than what we can right now. So now we're going to click on the header column layout and we're going to set a background color. We're going to select, where's
Blue.
neutral 2?
Give me a blue.
You want blue? Okay. What
You know
blue?
I like blue.
There we go. Woof. Now that's
Too
a
bright
blue.
blue. You got something more pastel. I'm over
Okay.
here being picky.
Let's select a nicer blue. Here we go. Okay, so that's nice. We're going to set some spacing here. We're going to click on padding and we're going to click on M. And this new visual way of seeing the spacing makes it a lot easier if you're brand new.
All right, and I'm going to pause you right there because you went really quickly to the spacing, and spacing's important. How did you get from where you just were changing colors to spacing?
It's just a little bit below background. So when I click on this, here's the colors, and then spacing is right here.
Perfect.
Yeah, we didn't go anywhere fancy, I promise. It looked like I was going fast, but I really wasn't. So now we're going to make a quick change to the user greetings container component. So I'm going to find user greetings here. And you can see it's currently being populated by a, let me resize this. You can see it's currently being populated by a client state parameter here. And oh, whoa, that's really confusing right now. So I'm going to close out of here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on it. And this is the visual data binding. I'm going to click on it and remove it. On the left side, I'm going to on the right side, the left side here on the right, I'm going to click formulas. I'm going to click on popular and I'm going to select concatenate. I can select it. You can either drag and drop it up there and it'll work, or you can click on this little arrow. And up here, I'm going to click on value 1. And I want this to say hello and welcome space. That way we can make it look a lot more dynamic. And then we're going to scroll down a little bit. We're going to go click on value 2, click on data types. And then this is what's really awesome. There's a lot of stuff that's available by default for you to use here under page properties. And of them is session. And this is where you can access some of your user preferences and user information. So here's a whole bunch of stuff I probably don't want to be showing on camera. Who knows? But I'm going to grab my first name and I'm going to move it up here by pressing the little up arrow. And you see all this stuff that it just added on here and I didn't have to type. It just did it for me automatically. That's awesome. So I'm going to hit apply and I'm going to hit save. And now this should be dynamic. And if I click preview, we should see it. Here we go. Hello and welcome me.
Very cool.
So now we're going to try to make this look a little bit better. So I'm going to close out of here. And let me see. I think we just went through all of these things. Yeah. So now under the main container, I'm going to make this smaller again. I'm going to click on date and time. We're going to move it below user greetings. And then we're going to hit save. So now we're going to go down to column 3 and we're going to right click it. I really like how UI Builder lets you drag and drop and right click and do a whole bunch of things that just kind of come naturally to you. So I'm just going to click on add component and we're going to look up the data visualization. Now there's 2 different data visualization components that you can grab from. You can choose just regular data visualization or save data vis. If you do the saved data visualization one, it lets you select from visualizations that you've created through the platform outside of UI Builder. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click, I'm going to delete it. And I'm just going to go back in and add the regular data viz component. And now we're going to configure it. Remember, the first thing you do, well, actually, here's something funny. Excuse me, that I actually have to fix in this lab guide. I'm going to edit this name right here. And I'm going to hit apply. Now, if I do, which is what it told me to do, the lab guide said to edit the name, I hit apply. And now I'm going to go in and select semi-donut for my data visualization type. And now it replaced my component with a different component. And I have to rename it again. So that's just something funny that I found through, somebody pointed it out actually at Knowledge. It was really fun. So we've got our semi-donut now. And we're going to configure a whole bunch of stuff about it. So I'm going to hide this real quick so you guys can see it a bit better as it changes. First, we're going to go to header and border. We're going to change the chart title to My Items. Then we're going to expand data. Oh, it's already expanded. And we're going to go to data sources rather. And you can see with this new stage 3.0, it's automatically updating here as we go. So we're going to click on add data source. And hopefully it works. It was giving me some issues on my PDI. I'm going to type in HR case. Awesome. And we're going to hit add custom conditions. Awesome. Everything's working. Just nope. What did you do, Arc?
It's thinking.
Yeah, Arc did not like what I did. Let's see how much progress I just... Okay, no. I didn't lose all the progress. It just went to the wrong one. Ben has a question in the chat. Any of y'all ever work in something like Figma to wireframe stuff before porting things over to UI Builder? And answering that is kind of difficult. On the one hand, that sounds like a very responsible, very intelligent, and well-prepared thing to do. But I don't think that quite works with how I like to work. I'm pretty much the type to just go in guns blazing and figure it out on the way there. But that sounds like a very responsible and good thing to do. What do you think, Sharon? Sounds like right up your alley.
I think it all depends on your organization and how they workflow. If you've got a place that actually does an amazing job defining what they want things to look like ahead of time and doing the Figma to wireframe ahead of time, that's amazing. I hate to say I have yet to have worked at one of those places yet.
Ooh.
But I have a very good friend who is a designer first at heart, and that is entirely what she works through. Is they build wireframes, they send her stories, and then her job as the developer is to make that beautifully work and functionally work. So it is good to have, but it's also a lot of overhead to define ahead of time.
Yeah, if you've got like so for example, when I worked at my previous employer, I used to be a service portal developer, and I would always work off of Figmas that designers made. So I loved working from predetermined assets, predetermined designs. It's a lot easier than having to make it up on your own. In my current role, I don't quite have the time to make really nice designs, nor do I have anybody to make them for me. So it's a kind of a wish to have. But the number one pet peeve that I had working directly from Figma and working with service portal developers, working off of Figma, do not copy the CSS off of Figma, because you're going to be hard coding your stuff. You're going to be hard coding heights and widths into your divs, and that's not going to look good. It's not going to be responsive. That's not deliverable to the customer. So Figma's great. Just don't copy the CSS that determines sizing. Use actual like Bootstrap.
Yeah.
Oh, use actual Bootstrap classes and use like Flex and other smart design things that I have forgotten in the year and a half that I haven't touched them. But don't copy the height and widths, please. You can copy the colors, the radius, go for it. Make your lives easier. Do not copy the heights and width. Oh, that just gets me so fired up. So during my little rant, I went in and I filled in the condition editor as follows. We added assigned to is dynamic me. And I'm going to click on add this source. And now you can see that my little data visualization is loading and there's no data available because I don't think I have any anything assigned to me. Now we're going to go down to group by, and I'm going to click on the little pencil icon next to active. We're going to select what field we want to group it by, and we're going to select state. I want to be able to quickly see what state everything is in. I'm going to hit apply. And now this is my favorite part. You probably won't be able to get away with doing something like this in your production environment. I don't know, ask your boss. But I'm going to put in here a custom message when there's no data available. I'm going to say, no more work. We go eat ice cream. So now you can see no more work. We is officially in my prod environment. Disclaimer, don't dev in prod. And we're going to hit save. And we've got the first part of it down. Now we're going to go and work on editing the L1 menu over here on the side. This is one of the more common questions that we get. So exercise 2 is a great place for you guys to follow through in order to figure out how to get that done. So first, we're going to, first we're going to create a platform analytics dashboard, actually. And I'm going to figure out, you know what? I have an idea. I wonder if I can duplicate, close out of this. Oh, can I flip them? Can I flip them? Fine, I can't flip them. Be that way.
It does appear to say no.
Don't expose me leaning in as if that's going to make my computer work better.
Not
okay, here we go.
The eyes.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you know, when you're driving and you're lost and you turn down the volume as if that's going to make you less lost. Excuse me. We're going to go to the Platform Analytics Center. And we're going to go in and create a new dashboard. We're going to select Inline Editor. We're going to name it what it's telling us to name it, and we're going to create it. And we're going to just quickly add a new element, a heading. We're going to set the style to header hero. We're going to label it and you can see that this is changing live. And now kind of make it look a little bit pretty. We're going to make it this big, and we're going to add another element. We're going to add a list this time. We're going to find, we're going to keep it as list. We're going to hit save real quick, just in case.
Save often.
Yes, actually. There we go. Okay. Let me see. Why won't... That's weird. Okay. I'm going to go in and type in HR task. And now I'm going to hit save. On to activity 2. Now back in UI Builder, we're back in the HR Agent Workspace. And we can get to this homepage again by clicking on here. And we're going to click on the little plus next to Pages and Variant. We're going to create a new page. And we're going to use, that's not a good sign. That's never a good sign. What did you do, Sharon?
It's not a plant, so I didn't kill it. It wasn't me.
True.
Dun, dun, dun. Invalid table name. 970 of the scripted code.
I'm going to message myself this error just to have it for later. Well, we're just going to skip that in this case. I'm going to have to troubleshoot that offline. But what we were basically going to do is we're going to create a new page with the dashboard template, and then select the newly created dashboard template, the newly selected dashboard page that we were going to do. But that's okay. We're just going to skip on to activity 3. Now we're going to actually work on the L1 menu.
Yay.
So we're going to click on this little drop down, and we're going to click on experience. And it's going to take us here. And if this was a little bit bigger, you would be able to see a little view experience settings button right here. So we're going to go to the experience settings and we're going to go to side navigation. So you can do this in one of two ways.
I am going to pause and call out that you had to resize the page to get the button on the page because when I was testing this lab, that took me a very long time to find that button. I'm pretty sure that's the one.
Oh no,
Maybe
I
it's
should
a
probably.
different one because it kept scrolling and it kept expanding further off of my screen.
Really?
So, yeah, just be determined. Occasionally, the interface did a really. It's there.
Huh.
It really is.
I'm gonna have to look into that. So you can edit this L1 menu in one of many different ways. You've got the you can edit this side navigation and add up to 7 pages through here, or you can go into advanced settings. There we go. So under advanced settings, we're going to go in and we're going to copy this JSON from our we're going to go here, we're going to select all, and we're going to paste. And we're going to hit update or right click and save.
And what will that do?
So basically, I wonder if I explain it right here. Oh, actually, part of the instructions tell you to scroll all the way to the bottom. And you see this route K24 lab dashboard template page. We're supposed to add a button for the page that we couldn't add just now. But this is basically how you would do it. You could add it like this. We got the ID and the route is what determines what page it sends us to. Then we've got the icon that we can select from. And this is the message that shows up when you hover over the button. And now here, we've got the K24 Lab dashboard button. But when we click on it, it says not found because we were not able to create the page. But that's how you can update the L1 menu in the future. That was exercise 2, activity 3. And now we're going to do something else that's commonly asked. We want to update. Let me show you guys what we are going to be updating. Here under lists, you can see how there's all these different lists created for you. We're going to go ahead and try updating one of those. So let me go back to the correct page this time. No, this isn't the right one because we're in the, it's this one. Cool. So first we're changing to the incident management scope. Incident management for Service Operations Workspace.
All right, and it looks like for this exercise, we are rearranging those categories of lists based off of what the end user we're helping needs. So that's going to be the mission of this particular step.
So let's use this view right here. I'm just going to scroll through to the activity. We're on the right update set. Application scope. We just got to refresh. And now we're going to go in and I'm trying to see where it's not just us walking through what it looks like. Here it is. Okay. We're going to go back into UI Builder. We're going to go to this little button, takes us to the home. And here we can look up the Service Operations Workspace. It looks a little bit different here. Like I said, the landing page changed days after this went live. And we're going to find the list page once we're on the Service Operations Workspace. And we're going to go into List SNC. And I go into further detail and analyze the anatomy of that page in the walkthrough that I do at the beginning of the lab. So on the left side of the page, we'll see the content panel, and we can see the list nav right here. And in the config panel on the right, we can see there's a configuration link down here at the bottom. We're going to go ahead and click on that, and it opens a different window. We're going to click on default SOW right here on the UX list menu configurations. And here we can see all of the different UX list categories and UX lists that are in SOW. So let's see what the lab guide wants us to do. Let me copy this real quick so I don't have to tab back and forth. Oops. Okay. So first we're going to look at the UX list categories. And for the incidents record, we're going to double click it in order to edit it from here. And I'm going to set it to 75. It's always best practice to keep this in big, even numbers, so that way you can always be more granular about adjusting things as you go on in the future. And now we're going to go to UX lists. We're going to find the incidents table assigned to you. And we're going to change this up a little bit. We're going to right click this. We're going to click on, I think it's, I can't remember how I did this in the workspace in the lab, but we're going to basically click edit here. And we're going to rename this to the top list. We're going to change order 50, group by column. Down here, we're going to change this to state. There it is. Oh, you guys couldn't see the drop down. And we're going to, let's see, where is it? Table configuration. Here's the view. We're going to leave it as Service Operations Workspace. We're going to remove the filter conditions. And then under this huge list of things that you can check off, we're going to check off a couple of them. So just a few of them. We're going to show checkboxes on hover. We're going to do hide column grouping. We're going to hide reference links. We're going to hide drag and drop. We're going to hide pagination. So I'm going to go to the top. We're going to right click and I'm going to do, where did my insert and stay go? How rude. So we're just going to update it. And now, if that all worked and we know what track record this show has for things working, we're going to go to the Service Operations Workspace. We're going to go to lists, and the top list is there, and it's grouped by state. It worked on the first try. Amazing. And now, let me see. This is another one that's really popular in terms of configuring workspaces. Let me see what page we can go to. This one works. So we're going to be in exercise 4, activity 1 now. The only activity of exercise 4. And we're going to go back to the Service Operations Workspace again.
And our goal for this one is to help Tier 1 help desk technicians create new knowledge base articles directly from the workspace.
Thank you. I keep forgetting to read that part. So we're on the Service Operations Workspace again. And like Sharon said, the button likes to hide apparently. We're going to click on View Experience Settings. This is, and we're going to go all the way down right here. Under the General tab, we're going to go to Advanced Settings. And this is going to take us to the form view. And we're going to scroll down to the related lists. And this is where a lot of things are controlled from for your workspaces. Like, for example, the Chrome toolbar configuration record for the L1 menu is actually, you can access it here as well. The one that we're looking for is Chrome tab. This is the one that is going to configure our tabs there. And I want to quickly show you guys where that's going to affect. So when you hit plus here, you've got new interaction, new incident, new change request. Oh, ignore this one. So we're going to go to Chrome tab, and we're going to grab from the lab guide. We're going to put in the information here. And basically what we've added is this last little bit. We've added the message, which is the text shown to the end user in the option when you click on the plus menu. The route info is where clicking that menu is going to send you to. So like routes is the page ID. We want the record page. And fields contains the fields, the URL parameters to be fed to the page when it's opened. In this case, we want to do the KB knowledge page, but we want sysid -1. And this is a little thing that took me a while to figure out. Sharon, do you know what sysid -1 does?
No, teach me something new.
Oh, no. Basically, it's a shorthand for I want to make a new record. So anytime you do sysid -1, it's new record.
That's awesome.
So now we're going to go ahead and hit update this. We're going to go back to the Service Operations Workspace. Where is it? There it is. And we're going to refresh. When we click the plus menu, it's gone. Oh, no, it's there. I just named it different. It's a new knowledge article. I was looking for new KB article. There we go. So now we've got, I wonder if it's, you can see we've got the KB knowledge page in the -1 sysid. And we're able to create a new knowledge article right here. Let's see. And then finally, I will read the scenario this time, promise. Finally, the exercise 5, we're going to add a field to the form view and control whether it appears or not using a UI policy. So we're going to go to the Workspaces menu. I think this is just going to show you a record and how to filter it. Let's see. Yes. So let me open up SOW again and go to the home. We're going to go to the list. And we're going to open up a new incident. And here, we're going to go to the details page, and we can see our form right here. From here, you can go to the, I'm sure there's an official name for this. I just call it the little avatar icon up in the top right corner. And we've actually got a couple of new options called Configure Work Page and Configure Page. And from here, we can configure the form layout. Now it's going to redirect us here, but it's going to say, hey, try using Form Builder instead. So we're going to hit Try Form Builder.
Yay, Form Builder.
Yay, Form Builder.
I do really like this new interface, or this new option of editing forms. It is much easier to work with and see, and so it is a good addition.
Most definitely. It's better than what we used to have. Now, a lot of people didn't like Form Designer, but I liked Form Designer enough. Everybody told me not to use it, but I'm gonna miss it.
I like it. Well, you still can use it, but this is better.
True. So what we want to do is make sure we're in the right update set. Oh yeah, Claire, that is a really cool thing. We can see here this kind of filled in. That's really nice. So
I also like the yellow marks that tells you if there's something affecting that field as a UI policy.
Definitely. That's actually, I had no idea what that did. I learned something new today. We're just going to add in the field by clicking on the add button down here. And we're going to look up our company field. There we go. I should just be able to click it. And as always, hit save. Always hit save.
Oh, yeah.
And we're going to set up a UI policy. And we're going to name it show only if caller is a VIP. It's always useful to use very descriptive short descriptions. So again, 4 months down the line, when you come back and you try to figure out what's going on, you don't forget everything that you did. We're going to click on advanced settings. We're going to hit applies to all views. And when these conditions are met. So this is where we're going to actually set the conditions. We're going to go for caller. And actually, we're going to dot walk. So I'm going to go to caller and then press this little triangle, this little arrow. And I'm not quite sure where dot walking originated from, if it's like a general tech term or if it's like a ServiceNow specific one. But basically, when you access fields from a different table, the way you would typically write it in a script is something like caller.vip.name or something like that. That basically tells you that you want to know on the caller table, even though this is the incidents table, we want to know whether the caller is a VIP. So we're going to be dot walking over here. So we've got caller. We're going to check the field VIP on the caller record, which is the users table. And we want to see if it is true. Then we're going to click on add UI policy. Oh, and then down here, we're going to make it so company is visible, true. And we're going to hit add UI policy. So now we've got show only if caller is a VIP. So we're going to hit save. Now we're going to go back in here and we're going to refresh. And Ailey Anderson is a VIP MVP, of course. So we can see the company field, but I wonder what's going to happen if I make it a non-VIP. The company field is gone. So that is the Introduction to Workspaces lab. You can work through this yourself by going to the link in the description right here. And scrolling down, we've got some great resources linked here for you. And it's called Crafting Workspaces Like a Pro, a hands-on learning adventure lab. Next time in You and I Builder Live next week, we're going to be going through the Build a Killer Single Page App with UI Builder Lab. This one's going to be a little bit more advanced, but it's still going to be, we're still going to go through it and explain it step by step, so you're not going to feel lost or anything like that. And we're basically going to be making the Notes app that we built on this. We've actually built this app like 2 or 3 times on this show already. in 2 weeks. Thank you, Earl. We built this lab on this show as a proof of concept for this lab. So now we're going to go full circle and we're going to actually go through and build the final version of the application and have a concise run through of it. So that's something to look forward to next week. This one does have an update set for you to download and go through ahead of time. So you're going to want to, if you want to prepare and go through it with us, you should download the update set, install it into your PDI, and make sure the UI Builder store app is updated to the most recent version. Other than that, I think that's it for today's episode. We did not end up having any time to go through the Advanced Workspace Configuration Lab, but I definitely suggest you go in and take a look at it. We go through Record Watcher, page collections, declarative actions. We have 2 declarative action exercises. And then finally, we've got a page collections overview tab exercise at the very end. It's a great lab. It's definitely a little bit more in-depth than the one that we just walked through, but it's definitely worth giving a look. Did you go through that one, Sharon?
I have not completed that one. I got started and then it was time to, get back to work.
Yeah, I think the only one I've done is exercise 3 because I built that exercise. I don't think I've actually gone through the rest of them. But yeah, that's it for today's episode, I think. We're good to go on the lab. Let me stop sharing here. Perfect. So any final closing statements you would like to go through, Sharon?
Just once again, as you are going through these labs, that exercise 1 is a great starter for anybody looking for the foundations of how UIB works. And from there, you then get into actually changing and editing and customizing what you want your variant to look like after that. So I really appreciated you putting together that lab and giving that intro for somebody new and walking through. And that way you're not, I find a lot of time in tech, there's assumed knowledge. There's that assumption that, oh, you already know where, if there was more physical sense, you know where all of the doors and windows are. This really tells you where those components are that are your building blocks for everything else.
Yeah, I 100% agree. So some last notes for everybody. If you're interested in getting into platform analytics and learning more, we're going to have the Next Experience Academy focusing on platform analytics on Wednesday, the 17th at 11 a.m. Eastern. And then the next episode of You and I Builder Live is going to be on Thursday, the 25th at 4 p.m. Eastern again. Thank you so much for joining me today, Sharon. I really appreciated your input and witty commentary. And thank you all so very much for watching. Goodbye.
Bye. Thanks for the invitation.